What do you mean you know most of them? There are 30 million Irish Americans. I know them all. I know the Lucky Charms guy, Liam Neeson, Filet-O-Fish, patio furniture, all the... Before he left the UK, Trump attended the commemoration of the 75th anniversary of D-Day, where he read from a prayer originally delivered by FDR on the radio, and then he remembered that fateful landing at Omaha Beach, where the Allies fought against the Nazis.
Very fine people on both sides.
I'm sure he's... Yeah. Then it was time to party, because after Trump's solemn address, dancers emerged to the upbeat strains of Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy. No, okay, it is a period.
Walk and live.
But some say it's not
Dark and
day of solemn remembrance. But
walk and live.
Churchill's famous words after Dunkirk.
Dark and bumbleclad.
Milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. It will bring them to the beaches. It will bring them to the landing grounds.
Of course, no one is allowed to leave England without first completing the mandatory exit interview with Chat Show, Chum Bucket, and
Heads up, I'm activating
Boys to the yard. It will bring them to the beaches. It will bring them to...
Do it now.
welcome, ladies and gentlemen, one and all, to The Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. It is Dave. I'm sure he's...
Come on, we went over this. It's super simple.
Funding received.
Hey gamers, it's Grind This Game here, back with Surviving Mars. And we got some overpopulation problems here and some homeless going on. Unemployed. I let the babies kind of get out of control here, so all the domes are kind of full, except for our child dome. So we're starting to get adults going in here, which is not good. We've got our filters, check our filters here. If I can get to them, here we go. So we got... Wait a minute, what's going on here? Are these all adults? I think it might be. I think all the kids grew up kind of immediately, and now they have no jobs. Yeah, that's the problem. So no adults can really do well in this dome, even though this is the child dome. And because all the other domes are full, they have nowhere to go. What should we do? We could build another dome, but eventually people will start dying of old age, and that'll clear up some room in some of these domes here. We haven't had any renegades. Right here, Rover, RC Dozer. Oh, and this is all flattened now. So, what do we need for the capital city? Oh yeah, breathable atmosphere. But it doesn't tell you exactly how much. Let's see this thing again. Breathable atmosphere at 95%. Okay. Just need some more atmosphere. I didn't amplify this. That'll help with... yeah, we'll just... this kind of organism. Maybe take one of the existing extremophiles, which are like a kind of... they're not bacteria, but they're called archaea. Take one of those and then adapt them even more so that they're good at surviving really freezing temperatures with very little water. And we'll take a test tube of that to Mars and set it loose, and it should just start growing like crazy. Because then you'll have... okay, the population is coming down in here. That's good. That's what we want. So when this hits 0, okay, open farm. Oh, soil quality is not very good right there. Maybe we'll stick it over here. But bring the water outlet over there, maybe. Construct the capital city. Shake. Okay. I kind of want to leave some of the mountains, but I think I'll leave maybe these over here, and this one looks pretty cool.
Research complete.
I might leave this one, but the rest I think I'm going to flatten out. Oh, we got some rain. We could build a whole bunch of them over. And then we could kind of branch out from there. Where's it down one? I think it's right there. Okay, we're going with that. If it's out of alignment, oh, we're at 99.72 atmosphere. Atmosphere terraforming. They've served us well, but or should we keep them? Let me know in a comment if you think I should keep these old mini domes. People are not as happy in here. The biorobot. Oh, look at that. Cherry blossom. I kind of like blue sky. Okay, temperatures remaining at 100. The food can go. This housing can go, I think. Make sure we got enough housing for everyone. And we're gonna go crazy with these biorobotics. Should be holding shift when I do this. Here we go. Oh, how are these things doing? Oh yeah, they're getting dirty. Getting dirty. Oh. Okay, yeah, they're damaging each other. Maybe that's not a good idea, having them side by side. Maybe we'll build one way down here. I don't know. I wonder how often this happens. And we're gonna do one. We're getting there, we're getting there. Almost done the terraforming process. Just need more water. Maybe we'll do another big lake or something. Slightly. Yeah, if we did 6 megadomes around here, that would be cool. And then we could keep going out. That's an idea. And the 6 that are around here, we could connect. That would get us a big population. But it means doing... Hey gamers, let's grind this game. There we go. Where is it? Capture media. Enough for them to do. Holy, look at them. They need playing, shopping, social. Okay, more parks. Homes. those in there. The domes. But that doesn't matter because we don't have domes anymore. It's kind of funny. Hey gamers, it's 4,000 food. Okay, maybe there isn't any food. I think if we have 3 on either side. Don't get it. As much where it is actually. Actually, we got machine. We're gonna repeat that until we get full. Where is it? Magnetic shield. It's this one. So this doesn't become available unless this is under 100. So we're gonna send expedition. Available rockets on Earth. 6. Select rocket. Okay, we got a farm in there. We got cover crops. We got print. I think we have the resources to repair. Here we go. Upgrade all these homes. This is okay. What do we got here? X trees, okay. And I got some cleanup I got to do over here along this backbone here since we've ripped everything out. Oh, we got an acid spill up here. Toxic pool. And get rid of dome service. Okay, there they go. Filling it up. Slow it down here. Lovely. It's pretty cool. I usually do them at night because it looks cool, but maybe we'll do it kind of mid.
In a world where everything is becoming increasingly connected and integrated with technology, cars have lagged behind. But all of that is changing, and fast. The automotive industry is on the cusp of a technological revolution as companies like Apple, Google, Amazon, and Microsoft partner with car makers to bring the power of our phones and AI into the vehicle. Almost all auto manufacturers have struggled with consistently delivering a great user experience that can keep pace with our phones and computers.
It's important to note how much of a pain point infotainment has been for these car companies for a long time. Really starting like early 2000s, BMW started coming out with iDrive, and immediately there was all kinds of issues with how to control it, and the interface wasn't user intuitive. I had a Toyota Tundra recently, and that infotainment system looks almost unchanged from the one in my uncle's 2012 Toyota Highlander. And that's always been a point that has really hurt Toyota and other companies like it that haven't invested that much in the infotainment department. The pace of the smartphone and tablet sector just moves so much quicker.
But some of the big tech companies are fixing that. Apple and Google have developed their own connected car solutions that let you access navigation and messaging on your infotainment system.
CarPlay is Apple's way of getting inside of your car. You basically hook up your iPhone to a console or an aftermarket heads-up display, and it shows you different apps that are available on your iPhone that you can use while you're driving. You can access things like Apple Maps, Apple Music, Pandora, Spotify, CNBC, your podcast app, and more. And it allows you to basically see a version of your iPhone that you can use while you're driving.
Google's version is Android Auto and functions just like CarPlay by projecting a driver-friendly interface onto your infotainment screen. Both systems have been around since 2014, and companies like Ford, Chevrolet, Audi, and more are integrating Google and Apple in their cars.
Often you'll find cars support both CarPlay and Google's Android Auto, and it seems like this is what customers want, since all they have to do is get in the car and then everything on their phone comes up right on their display. And auto manufacturers, they don't have to worry about spending millions of dollars to create new in-car entertainment systems.
So Toyota and Ford and all those companies are saying, actually, it's really a lot better for us if we can just let Google and Apple do a lot of the heavy lifting and focus on what we do well, which is building cars. Not everyone is, of course, on board with the idea that infotainment should be equal across all cars. We've seen studies that show that people are willing to switch car brands for more connectivity features, and so everyone wants to offer, CarPlay and Android Auto and those things, but when you're charging more money, you want to offer a better experience, which is why high-end manufacturers like BMW and Mercedes want to focus on offering, a step above what you might get in your Ford or your Toyota.
While Mercedes supports Apple and Google's offerings and BMW has CarPlay, both have continued to invest in their own technology, developing personal assistants to control car features.
You can say things like, hey Mercedes, set the climate control to 68 degrees, while also using it to control music and navigation. So while your phone may be able to very well do music and navigation, they're taking advantage of the fact that your phone can't turn on your heated seat. Your phone can't set the climate control because that's their ecosystem. Because the idea being, if you get really used to using that BMW software, when the time comes to upgrade, you're not going to want to switch to an Audi and learn a whole new system.
In order to power its personal assistant, BMW turned to Microsoft.
Microsoft is providing the underlying AI capabilities, cognitive capabilities for automakers like BMW to create their own branded voice assistants. In the future, people will be interacting with their vehicles through voice. A lot of the commands are going to be voice driven. And here's the opportunity for BMW to create a very impactful voice assistant that portrays their brand and provides very rich context-specific experiences for their consumers.
Unlike Apple and Google, Microsoft is focused on creating the underlying tech that will support all of the different smart features in a car.
We strongly believe that the automakers are in the best position to provide these experiences by themselves. The role of technology providers like Microsoft is to support them and give them the underlying capabilities they need.
Microsoft is also partnering with automakers like Volkswagen and Daimler.
If you have a problem with your vehicle and you bring it to the dealership to fix, well, since Daimler has access to all the data, they can quickly forecast what could be the potential problem and speed up that repair cycle for you.
A major benefit of these systems is safety. Tech like CarPlay and Android Auto are designed to keep drivers off their phones and focused on the road. Inside Google, the Android Auto team has a whole lab dedicated to testing distracted driving, using the data to influence the user experience design of the platform.
So this is our driving simulator. We use it for testing our product in a driving context while maintaining a safe and controlled environment. We have participants wear eye tracking glasses so that we can track their pupil location and measure their glances to and from the road and to the product. So we'll have them navigate to a destination or send a text message using their voice with the Google Assistant. The driving simulator allows us to measure glance duration and gaze location. It also allows us to collect data of driving performance so we can make sure that they are maintaining consistent and safe speed and they're maintaining their lane position and not swerving.
Right now we see about 1 in 13 drivers texting while driving. And so the implication is that here at Android Auto we have an opportunity to really make a difference.
Voice assistants will actually play a pretty big role in changing how we interact with our devices while in the car.
Incorporating Google Assistant into Android Auto is really the fundamental piece that's going to make this all work. What we really want to do is minimize the number of times you do need to look off the road if you do need to do that. So the assistant, by being predictive and putting the information you're most likely to be searching for right there, that leads to a really wonderful experience. People don't want to be fumbling through intricate menus while they're driving. They want to get to what they're looking for right away and back to the road. We have the opportunity to really eliminate handheld phone use while driving.
Amazon is also interested in your car and has been working with a number of automakers to bring Alexa integration.
In a new BMW or a new Ford or a bunch of other manufacturers, you can say, Alexa, what's the weather like? And they'll use the car's connectivity or your phone's connectivity to answer that request. But they actually go a step further than that. There's also Alexa skills for certain brands. So while on a Genesis, which is Hyundai's luxury division, they won't allow you to use Alexa in the car. What you can do is in your Alexa in the home, you can say, Alexa, start my Genesis, and it'll actually use that connective car service to remote start your car via voice. So it kind of, instead of bringing you into the Amazon ecosystem in your car, it's bringing your car into the Amazon ecosystem that you already have set up.
Amazon is also enabling features like Amazon Key for cars from Volvo, GM, and Ford, which lets packages be delivered to your car. It's an alternative to the controversial product that gave the retailer access to your home. And for older cars, Amazon has that covered too.
Average car on the road in the United States is now over 11 years old. So the vast majority of Amazon clients are completely left behind by this revolution. And that's where Echo Auto comes in, which is Amazon's standalone device to bring those Amazon connected services to your older car. And so they're really trying to hit all possible avenues. They're working with as many manufacturers as possible and doing really what they were doing with Echo the whole time, which is saying, yeah, we'll license it to smart speakers. Yeah, we'll license it to competitors. We want Amazon Echo to be part of your life no matter where you are.
Eventually, we may see car computers that end up running mobile OSs not all that different from our phones. Google is working on bringing the full Android operating system directly into cars, so a phone isn't needed. It's called Android Automotive, and an early iteration was debuted in Volvo's Polestar 2 EV.
This is Android running in the car as the embedded infotainment platform. And unlike Android Auto, your apps and services are running on the car, so it doesn't matter what kind of phone you have, or even if you forgot your phone at home.
We took the decision 2 or 3 years ago to decouple hardware and software because our own systems never kept up with what the software companies were doing. And it was fairly evident to work with Google. So for us, it was about making sure that we could make the interaction, the interface of the customer when they get in the car the best possible.
User always had to shift between two worlds. One world was Android Auto, where you kind of had your brought-in services, and then you had the rest of the system. And what we've seen over time is as more and more functionalities move into the actual screen, that seam between brought-in device and services that Android Auto provides and everything else available kind of started to grow. So with Android Automotive, what it does is it enables us to bring the seamless experience. The third-party app developers, Spotify, for example, NPR, they can now bring applications that they started developing originally for Android Auto and mobile directly into the car.
Having Android operate natively in a car could open up huge possibilities. There are over 2.1 million apps in the Google Play Store, and with minimal effort from the developer, all of those could be available right in your car.
With Android embedded, what we're going to now is that you bring the functionality that you like so much about your phone into your car. And that's the marriage that we're looking for, that we have a seamless integration of your life as a connected person outside the car, not being interrupted when you get into the car.
With such a focus on cars, tech companies may completely transform our concept of what a vehicle can be.
These vehicles are going to be your office on wheels or your living room on wheels. Today, when you're stuck in a commute, it's really a bad experience that people go through, where in the future, every minute can be a very productive experience if you want to do some work while you're moving, or it could be a great entertainment experience. And so Microsoft, in our role as a technology provider, is partnering deeply with automakers, so together we can accelerate and provide these innovative services faster to the market, because no one person can bring it all, and we truly believe us coming together can bring this value at a much more rapid pace.
To build a 5G network, you need a new type of telecoms gear. You need many more base stations, and they need to be smarter. It is the Chinese tech company Huawei which makes the most advanced 5G gear, but this has been making Western governments nervous. So I've come to find out, who are Huawei? It may look like Paris, but this is Huawei's brand new campus in Shenzhen, China. A huge site where employees take a train between office buildings, each of which is modelled on a different European city. Few journalists have visited this Disney World-like project, very much the brainchild of Ren Zhongfei, the company's founder. He's been compared to the likes of Steve Jobs, growing his company from a small workshop to a global tech giant, now employing 180,000 people. Huge spending on research means Huawei claim they're now around 18 months ahead of any other 5G manufacturer. And that includes not just getting faster and faster data speeds, but also dealing with the problems that come from higher performance.
So this is Huawei's 5G wireless base station. So normally in 5G, the power is around 1,000 watts.
And how much bigger is that than a 4G base station?
I think in 4G base station, normally the average power is 300 watts.
300. And this is...
So it's 3 times larger.
So this uses 3 times as much power?
Yeah.
So it gets hotter?
Yeah, it's much hotter.
It's a common problem in technology. As things get faster and they consume more power, they get hotter, and new cooling techniques need to be developed.
This is liquid cooling cycling.
Is that liquid boiling in there?
Yeah, it's bubble.
So that is boiling and then coming through this tube?
Yeah, it's
right,
boiling.
okay. Here, they're learning how different designs and materials can change the speed and direction that heated air flows away from the components. And here's an experiment to try and keep everything at a stable temperature by either applying heat or cold on demand.
Yeah, that's gone cold. Yeah, that's hot.
Huawei is currently enjoying huge success, with revenues last year in excess of $100 billion. But this is also a company facing some serious issues. The biggest is that the US is coming for Huawei in a big way.
Look, we have met the enemy, and it is Huawei, and it is China. Make no doubt about that. You know, right now, Lou, Huawei, through access to unlimited capital from the Chinese government, the communist government, all of this technology, guess what? It's built in for cyber spying, for cyber espionage, because that's what the Chinese do.
The problem is, Mr. Ren was once a member of China's People's Liberation Army, and that's raised suspicions about his links to the Chinese state and whether it and Huawei may have each other's backs. America is adamant that Huawei is a pawn of the Chinese authorities. In 2017, China passed the National Intelligence Law, which says that, if asked, all Chinese companies and citizens must help the government to assist national intelligence efforts. China claims this is part of an effort to safeguard its security. But the fear is that if Huawei supplies any country's 5G network, the Chinese could exploit it. To help the government decide whether Huawei should be in the UK's 5G network, the British security services have a special unit devoted to looking at the potential risks posed by Huawei. It's overseen by Dr. Ian Levy. His job is to defend the UK against digital attacks. He rarely gives interviews. Does Huawei pose more of a security risk than the other companies that supply the network infrastructure?
So I think what we're talking about is assume the Chinese state wants to attack the UK telecoms networks. Our job is to try and make them work just as hard, regardless about whether we use Huawei kit or not.
Many people think the Chinese state would love to eavesdrop on other countries. So if we let Huawei into 5G, is that a real danger?
It's no more likely to have spying on communications in 5G than it is in 4G. And anything that's critical, whether it's government, business, even personal communications, should be encrypted. So, all of the communications with your bank from your smartphone, they're all encrypted because you don't want to trust the Wi-Fi and the telecoms network.
So if someone's listening on the line, they'll just get garbled.
They get gobbledygook. Yep. And it's the same for critical stuff in business and government, in control systems.
So, according to GCHQ, the threat of spying that we've heard so much about recently is overblown. But there is another threat that they take very seriously. In a future where our entire infrastructure, our economy, and our lives are run by computers talking to each other over a 5G network, what would happen if someone shut that network down?
If you think about it, the future of warfare is not necessarily going to be using traditional armies in the way that we think of like with the Second World War. The future of warfare is most likely going to be cyber. So without firing a shot, you could take a country out.
It's feared that the Chinese state could order Huawei to build secret backdoors in a 5G network. These would leave the country vulnerable to a nationwide cyber attack. And that could be catastrophic. This week we're talking 5G, the latest mobile network tech, starring robot hands, robot feet, and a robo-worm. Welcome to Bournemouth, on the south coast of the United Kingdom, famous for sandy beaches, seaside amusements, and having the worst 4G mobile reception in the UK.
I hate it. It's not good in anywhere, really. It's very, very temperamental, and really, it's really not good.
Well, there's some good news. 5G, the next generation of mobile network, is coming. But it's not just about your phone. 5G promises to enable self-driving cars, smart cities, and the whole Internet of Things as every machine starts talking to every other machine. This week, the first stage of bidding to become a 5G operator in the UK ended, with EE, 3O2 and Vodafone splashing out more than £1.3 billion for the privilege. Now, to date, no standards have been agreed, but we do have a rough idea of what 5G should look like. So, let's get you 5G ready. 5 things you need to know about 5G. 1. Yes, 5G will be much, much faster than 4G. HD movies can be downloaded in seconds rather than minutes, with speeds 10 to 100 times faster than 4G. 2. Unlike 4G masts, which broadcast in all directions, 5G antennas will use a new wave. 5G will use a part of the radio frequency spectrum that's never been used before, meaning it will broadcast on shorter millimetre waves. That means more data for all those devices. And has been to see what is claimed to be the world's first public 5G testbed.
The trial taking place here in Bristol's Millennium Square aims to give the public an idea of what 5G could make possible.
This communal virtual reality experience shows streaming of high bandwidth content on many devices all at once, all on one network with no time lag or dropout. Dancing in unison, we played a game involving chasing moving stars. These demos couldn't be in full 5G because current smartphones can't oblige, but every other element is there, with these 5G new radios throughout the area transmitting signal. The team here anticipate 5G to be a network of networks, combining the best elements of connectivity we have now with millimetre